guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Megz Moviez. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Sorry for the fidget, I'm just getting myself comfortable. Okay, so this is something I want to try out, so bear with me. I'm going to be looking at my Letterboxd and things like that. So in the past, I used to do Megz Moviez weekly watches. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I do kind of struggle with doing that. So today is the first of a new series where I do Megz Moviez monthly watches. So this is all the movies that I watched throughout the month. I'll go through the things that I've seen at the cinema, what were first time watches, what were physical media watches, and then I'll pick my favourite and my least favourite movie that I watched this month. So bear with me, this is going to be a working progress video, so bear with as I try to work out what I'm going to do. I'm going to try go by my diary most of the time, but we'll see what works. So this is a trial and error video. Okay, so this is all the movies that I watched in the month of February. I am including the one that I watched on the 31st of January because that's when I'd started to do the refresh on my Letterboxd, so I thought I'd include that as well. So this is from the 31st of January to the 28th of February. So I'll start with my cinema trips because luckily I've actually now got a cinema trips list on my Letterboxd. So if you want to see what I'm watching throughout the month and you want to see my full thoughts, go and follow me on Letterboxd. I try and watch as many movies as I can throughout the day and things like that. But yeah, so for cinema trips in February, I saw 5 movies at the cinema last month. One of them is a rewatch, and then the others are brand new releases. So going through them, because obviously I have got reviews for all of them on my channel, so I'm going to very quickly go through this. So the very first cinema trip of February was for Companion, one of the 2025 horror movies. I did enjoy this. This surprised me. I mean, to be honest, that was probably my favourite cinema trip out of all of these. The next one I saw was Dogman. This is the new DreamWorks animated film. I will say you'll see a lot of DreamWorks movies in this because I'm currently working on a ranking. I was hoping to get it done for the end of this month, but like I said, I'm trying not to rush things now. So it'll probably be around about when Bad Guys 2 comes out. We'll see what happens. But no, I went to go and see Dogman. Very weird film, but somewhat entertaining. Like I said, I have done reviews for all of these on the channel, so I will not be saying too much on that. The next one was The Brutalist. And in all fairness, I thought it was going to be the last time it was showing. It was at 8 o'clock at night. Kind of wish I hadn't done that now, because it turns out they are still showing it at my local cinema for a couple of more times this week and next week. So, at the end of the day, I'm glad I saw it. I got it done, but I wish it went at the late night viewing that I had it. But no, that was a pretty decent film. One of the 2 Oscar films that I have watched now, because I never got a chance to do an Oscars ranking. I know we've had the winners and everything, but I will do it now once I've watched all of the Oscar nominated films for Best Picture. The next one was a rewatch, but this was a Jim Carrey film that came out at the cinema, and that was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'd absolutely love to see every Jim Carrey movie in the cinema. I don't think that will happen, but this one was showing. I had my day off, so I was like, I'm determined to go and see it. So I'm really glad I got to see that on the big screen. It was a nice little rewatch, and there was only like a couple of other people in there, so it was quite nice. And then to finish off my cinema trips for that month, I saw Captain America Brave New World. This is the first of 3 MCU movies. Yeah, because Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. So yeah, the first of 3 movies. And you know what? Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I quite enjoyed it. I know some people didn't, but you know what? I did. So out of all of those, Companion was my favourite cinema trip. Probably Dogman was my least favourite of the cinema trips. But yeah, so that's all of them. Now, if I get my actual list up, there we go. So I watched quite a few physical. There was some streaming. So what I'll do is I'll go through the ones that were streaming. So starting off with Priscilla. I watched this when I had the Mubi subscription, but then I then cancelled it. I didn't get to rewatch Substance, unfortunately, but I did watch this one. I did want to watch it last year when it came out, but I never got the chance to. You know what? It's not the greatest film on the planet, especially compared to films like Elvis. But I kind of enjoyed it. I've done a review for it on my channel. But no, I watched that and it was okay. It was alright. It's not anything massive or major, but it's one I did enjoy. A little bit, not a lot. Then the next one I watched on streaming was How to Train Your Dragon 3, because what I've been doing is I've been doing a random number generator for my DreamWorks rewatches, and you know what? That actually really motivated me. That helped me out, because I feel like when I try and watch things in order of their release, that's when I lose the motivation. So the fact that I never know what movie I'm going to watch till the number comes out, brilliant. But yeah, so How to Train Your Dragon 3, this was a first time watch for me. I have seen the other two. I did start watching the other two last year, but never got round to the third one. And you know what? I really enjoyed the third one. I'm surprised I didn't get into this franchise sooner, because I really enjoyed it. And I think because maybe it was too hyped, like it was overhyped for me, that I think that's why I didn't watch it for some time. I love Toothless as a character, so adorable. I probably will rewatch these How to Train Your Dragon films when we get the live action remake this year, or I might not. I'll see how I feel. But I'm glad I've watched them. I did have it in my collection, so I did have it in this box set. However, I lent it out to someone and I never got it back. So hence why the How to Train Your Dragon films I'm having to watch on streaming. But no, that was a real fun one. I quite enjoyed that one. I got a bit emotional during that one, I will admit. And honestly, thinking about it, until I rewatch the second and the first one, I think this might be my favourite. Until I rewatch the other two. Then the next one I watched was Kung Fu Panda 4, because that one came up as a random number generator thing. And luckily I actually brought this one on Amazon Prime when it was on sale. So I was able to watch that again. And I think Kung Fu Panda 4 is slowly growing on me. It's not the best one in the franchise, but I do like the fact that we got nod to the old villains and seeing Tai Lung again. I did like the Chameleon. I thought she was a pretty badass villain, but compared to Tai Lung and the Peacock guy, I can't remember his name. Lord Shen. That was it. She's not as good as those characters, but I feel like she was a pretty badass character. Aquafina as the Fox character. I can't remember the Fox character's name. Okay, alright, but not like all that. And I also do miss the fact that Furious 5 weren't in this, so I don't know whether they'll do a fifth one. I'd be happy if they left it at 4, but we shall see. Then the next streaming one was quite some time later on, because all of these I own apart from that one. So here we go. So the next one was Kung Fu Panda, because I actually currently do not own those either, because it was in my How to Train Dragon set. So unfortunately I had to watch that on Sky Cinema, which is not a problem. But I really enjoyed Kung Fu Panda. Po, absolutely amazing. The Furious 5, badass. Shifu, badass. Tai Lung, badass. In fact, I think Tai Lung might actually be my favourite DreamWorks villain. Or maybe the Fairy Godmother. He'll definitely be in my top 5 DreamWorks villains, which when the bad guys do come out, I will be doing a top 10 villains list for DreamWorks. But I think the emotion behind Kung Fu Panda as well is amazing, especially in the first 3 films. I feel like they're so well done, and it's Po sort of like, in this one, he's dealing with the fact of he's been chosen to be Dragon Warrior, but he doesn't feel like he should be, and he learns to sort of like to grow and like himself, and ends up becoming a pretty badass character. So there's some really amazing fight scenes in this one. In fact, I think this one and the second one are tied for most epic fight scenes in an animated film for me. But yeah, so the next one I had to stream because I do not own it, but I would like to get the 4K American one. And that is My Bloody Valentine, the original, because I did an original versus remake for Valentine's Day. I've been wanting to do it for some time. I did want to do it last year and I think the year before, but I never got round to doing it, so I'm glad I got it done this year. So if you want to see my full thoughts on that, go and check out the original versus remake that I have on my channel. Then the next one that I streamed was Valentine's Day. This is kind of like the New Year's Eve, the Mother's Day. I don't think there's any other ones like that. But it's just basically a whole bunch of romance stories in one film, but they all connect in some way. And I like having a movie that's themed around that. And I like the whole idea of having multiple storylines that mix in together. You don't know who's going to mix in with what story. And I think they had some really good plots in this. So, not one of the greatest movies on the planet. You know, there's a lot better films. But Valentine's Day is a cute little one if you want to watch on Valentine's Day itself. Then the next one I watched on streaming was Kinda Pregnant, which is the newest release for this year. This is on Netflix. I won't give you my thoughts on that one because I have done a review for that. I actually put that up last week. Yeah. That video for reviews up for that one. So if you want to see my full thoughts on that, go check that out. Then the next one I streamed was Ice Princess. Now I watched this due to the fact that we have lost Michelle Trachtenberg. I forgot how much I enjoyed Ice Princess, and in fact I think it's actually grown on me that bit more, because I did enjoy it growing up, but I think my sister was more into it than I was. But upon rewatching it now, I forgot how good it was, and it's just such a lovely film. I think Michelle did such a great job in that role. In fact, I think I might prefer her role in this over Dawn. I'm not really sure. But I had to watch it. It was on Disney Plus, and just having her pass away, it just made me want to watch that film again. And it's weird how when a celebrity passes away, that's when we feel like we want to watch their films, because you know for a fact you're not going to get any more from them. And I think that's what makes it a bit more special to me, I think. But no, Ice Princess, I actually found it is on Blu-ray on eBay, so I might pick that up at some point in the future, because that's one I'd like in my collection. So if you have not watched The Ice Princess, Disney Plus, go check it out. Nice, simple movie, just all about ice skating, and just go watch it. Really enjoy it. And then the last streaming service film, and actually the last film that I watched in the month of February, was Eurotrip. This was a first time watch for me, because I was on a Michelle kick, and I went onto Paramount Plus because I'd seen it advertised on, I think it was on like Sky, as being on Paramount Plus. I scrolled through, found it, and then I thought, you know what, I've got it open, I've got a bit of time, I'm not doing anything, let's put it on. So, Eurotrip. Yeah, that was different. Certainly a bit weird at points. And I get why a lot of people gave it quite a few high marks. I can see that. But for me, until I watch it again, I think it was just very middle of the road. It was very slow to start with the comedy. But as soon as they got into the actual travel side of it, I found myself laughing. And say there's some very weird moments in this. So to me, it felt like it was kind of like The Hangover, but not as good as The Hangover. Yeah, it's weird to explain. Just that whole travel holiday thing, and then something goes wrong and all that. But that was one of Michelle's roles. I believe that was that, Ice Princess, and 17 Again are her biggest. Oh, and Harriet the Spy are her biggest film roles, I think. So I felt like finally giving this a go, especially with it being on Paramount Plus. And yeah, I'm glad I watched it. Probably will watch it again just to see if my feelings will change. But for a first time watch, not bad. But that is all the streaming service stuff. So now on to the physical media, which I've got them all laid out here. And the very first one, this is the one that I watched on the 31st of March. And that is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. If you have not watched it, seriously recommend you do. And by the way, my thoughts on the Shrek 5 trailer. What is up with that animation? I really hope they don't ruin Shrek. I really hope. Absolutely amazing film. Death is still such a badass character for me. I still love his character. And just, honestly, such fun animation as well. Such an emotional background to this. So if you have not watched this, seriously, give this a go. Then I have watched on this box set, because my DreamWorks are in box sets. I think it was just the second one. Yeah, so this is the Madagascar box set, as you can see on the back here. And I'd watched Madagascar 2. That was the random number generator one. It took some time for Madagascar to get around, because a lot more of the Shrek films were watched than any other franchise. So, love a random number generator. But Madagascar 2, this is, we get a bit of Alex's background. We get to go to Africa and just sort of like him get to see his family. And it's actually pretty good. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I think I got myself too overhyped for it when I was watching it growing up. But I loved the story. I loved the characters. Still think Alec Baldwin's bad guy character in this isn't all that great. It's pretty much a forgettable character. But King Julian, as always, makes me laugh. But no, Madagascar 2, a pretty decent sequel. It's not like Shrek or anything like that, where the sequel was better than the first one. So, things like that. Then my next set is actually my Shrek set. So far I have watched Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek Forever After. So I just need to watch the third one. Yeah, I just need to watch the third one and Puss in Boots. So Shrek, obviously the first one is an absolute classic. Hands down, just amazing adventure to follow and go on. And so it just always makes me laugh. I love Donkey and Shrek's friendship in that, where it's just growing. Seeing Princess Fiona and so many adult jokes now that I get. I love kids' movies that when you grow up and watch them again, you understand the adult jokes a bit more. Then the next one was Shrek Forever After. So this is the fourth film in the franchise. It's okay. It's not the greatest. It is better than the third one, I will admit that. I do like Rumpelstiltskin as a character. I think he's really well done in that. But to me, I feel like if they were to end it, if they were to just do the first two, perfect duo, I think. But the third and fourth one, like I said, they're not terrible, but they could be better. But the fourth one, I did quite enjoy watching that again. Seeing Rumpel and poor Donkey and seeing how different things could have been. I do like that. And poor Puss. What did they do to Puss? Then in this packet here, I think I only watched one of them. Yeah, it's just the one. And that is Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Rare Rabbit. I will be honest, these three I have not seen in years. Especially this one more so than anything. And I will be honest here, I enjoyed it, but I think I don't enjoy it as much as I did as a kid. Sometimes films like that, your feelings do change, and my feelings certainly did. But I still had fun with it. I still had a good laugh. I enjoy the characters, Wallace and Gromit, such a fun friendship, and just the fact that it's pretty much a werewolf film, but it's rabbits instead of a werewolf. It's fun. Saying there's some fun voice actors in this. Victor Quartermaine as a villain. Okay. But like I said, there's some other villains in the DreamWorks franchise that are so much better. Then in this set, I've only watched 2 films so far. And that is The Prince of Egypt and Joseph, King of Dreams. Now, The Prince of Egypt one, this is a second time watch for me. And it is growing on me slowly. I will say I'm not a massive religious person, so I think that's why I put off watching them for a very long time. But it's growing on me. I think I like the animation to it. I like how it's a bit more darker. I like how it's a more serious film amongst a lot of like kids films. I think it's nice having that kind of movie out there. And then I watched Joseph, the King of Dreams, and that was a first time watch for me. I'm not going to lie, I think I preferred King of Dreams over Prince of Egypt. I think. I won't say about my ranking. I'll leave it like that for now, I think. But no, I ended up enjoying it. I was quite surprised. And say, I feel like with these two, it will be a case of when I rewatch and rewatch and rewatch, they will slowly grow on me. But no, absolutely amazing films. I do enjoy them. I think they're brilliant animated films. But to me, it's just... They're amazing in animation, but just not amazing in the sense of I want to rewatch. If I've moved or changed, I forgot to actually grab one more physical media film. That's my bad. And this is the other DreamWorks film that I watched, and this is Ants. Now, yet again, kind of like with Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Rare Rabbit, I enjoyed this quite a bit as a child. I rewatched it because I think this is one I might have tried to watch a couple of years ago, but then never fully watched it. This is my first time fully watching it since I was a kid. It's been a good few years since I watched this, because this came out in... When did this come out? Was that like early 2000s? Something like that. Not as good as I remember it. Animation's certainly different and weird, and I know this came out at the same time as A Bug's Life, which I found hilarious about that feud. The whole, oh, is A Bug's Life better than Ants? If I'm going to be completely honest, I think I prefer A Bug's Life over Ants. It's close, but Ants is just... I don't know, I feel like I fell out of love with this film, but I would still watch it again. It's a different perspective through the bugs. It seems like DreamWorks like their bug movies. Anyway, but no, so it was fun to revisit this, and especially since I brought this ages ago when I was trying to complete my DreamWorks set. But I do want to get that big Blu-ray box set at some point. I'm going to wait until I can actually afford it a bit better. So it includes that, so I can get rid of this one. But if you want Ants on Blu-ray, try eBay, because you won't get it in the UK. I think this is either it's a Mexican one. I was then looking at it go, which one is that again? But no, I found this on eBay. Sorry, I'm babbling on a bit here. On this one, I've actually watched 3 out of the 4 films on this. So I watched Mr. Peabody and Showman, Home, and The Boss Baby. Boss Baby, I'll go over really quick. I'm not a huge fan. I like the idea of the fact this is all about Tim, sort of like his imagination and trying to work out what's real, what's imaginary, and sort of like, is he seeing this, all that. I like that aspect, but it's just too much of a weird film for me. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. But yeah, The Boss Baby, one of my least favourite films from DreamWorks. I've still got to watch Trolls, so I haven't fully decided if Trolls is worse than Boss Baby. So when that comes around, I'll let you know. But the other 2, so Mr. Peabody and Sherman, I actually kind of like it, and it's growing on me the more I watch it. This is one of a couple of films that when I first watched it, I thought they were meh, but they're starting to grow on me, and especially this one. This is all about Mr. Peabody. He has adopted a kid, obviously he's the dog, and he time travels, basically. He shows Sherman sort of like history and things like that, but obviously that goes wrong. But I like the fact that it's not only dealing with time travel, and it does have its funny moments, it does deal with a very serious moment about this film, about whether or not a dog can actually adopt a kid, basically. So I think now that I've watched it again, I think that's one of the reasons why it's grown on me, because I understood the story a bit more. So yeah, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, it gets better upon each watch, I think. So I think this is either the second or the third time. I think it's my second time watching it, so. But, Home. Now, a lot of people I know don't like Home. I think it's adorable. I think it's such a fun film. I must admit, the whole them talking a bit weird and out of sync sort of like throws me off a bit, and that's the one thing I don't really like about the film. But everything else about it, I love. And I love O as a character. He's this one here. So basically you have these aliens that have come to Earth to run away from these evil aliens, and they've taken over the planet. But you've got Tip here, this lovely little girl, as voiced by Rihanna. And then you've also got Jim Parsons as O. I like the fact that he's named O because everyone's like, oh, like whenever he comes around. But I love the story. I love the plot. The soundtrack as well. I really enjoy the songs in this. I remember the first time I watched this film. I can't remember if I got to see it in the cinema or if it was when I watched it at home. But I remember listening to the soundtrack for some time after seeing this. And it was nice to hear those songs again because I haven't listened to them in a while. But no, it can be annoying at points, but it is enjoyable. So I'd recommend giving it a watch. Watch it twice maybe, and then see how you go. Then the next one are 2 films I've watched in here, and that is Abominable and The Croods: A New Age. So The Croods: A New Age is one I've already watched once before. Second time watch. I enjoyed it. I still think it's a bit weird with the whole banana situation. I'm not going to say any more on that. But aside from that, I kind of like it. Obviously, the only thing that I have a bit of a gripe with it is that they're trying to modernise it for a modern audience whilst also having it set in the prehistoric age. So it's just sort of like throws me off a little bit, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. It's not overly funny, and I can't even remember if I like The Croods 1 more than this. I'm not really sure, but when I get round to watching that one, I'll let you know. But it was nice to revisit this and say, I like the fact that Ryan Reynolds and Nick Cage are in this. Such a weird cast, but I love it. And then Abominable. Now, Abominable. Oh God, try and say that 10 times fast. It's a first time watch. Now, I think when I'd seen the trailer for this years ago, I weren't hyped for it. I looked at it and I just went, ugh, this doesn't look that great. I regret not watching it sooner. I love Abominable. I think he's such a cute character. Kind of like, oh, you sort of like feel bad for him, but he doesn't annoy you as much. Amazing animation. I think the storyline as well is so well done. The twist in it, not all that great, but I will say I didn't see it coming. But I do like how it ended. And you know what? If they were to do a sequel to this, I would watch it. But as a one-off, I think it's great. And it's one I will watch again and again because I do love how cute and adorable. So that one is the one that surprised me the most this month. And then on to my last DreamWorks watches. And the only films I've watched so far on this one is Bee Movie and Monsters vs. Aliens. Now, these two, I will say both of them are very middle of the road for me. So, Bee Movie is such a weird film in the sense of you've got a bee possibly having feelings for a human. Yeah. But it has some funny moments. It has some really enjoyable moments in this. I've got Abominable stuck in my head. But it has some funny moments, but it's not all that great. And sorry, the boiler's just kicked in. The only other thing I will say is that Bee Movie, yeah, I think it's one of those I enjoyed it at the time, but I've kind of grown out of it. And then you got Monsters vs. Aliens, and my sister really enjoyed this one. Me, not so much. I will say I'm very middle of the road. I'm very much like, it's cute, it's fun. I love Seth Rogen as Bob. Bob. But I like the characters, I like the story. The villain is okay, but not that great. I wish he was better. But I like the little group, I like the little friendship that they have. But kind of like Bee Movie, I feel like these two combined are sort of like very middle of the road-ish. But I do think Monsters vs. Aliens is better than Bee Movie, if I'm honest. Then, to finish up my watches, is the last 3 physical medias. So we'll start with this one, and that is My Bloody Valentine. This is the remake. My full thoughts on the original versus remake, like I said, are on my channel. So if you want to go and see those thoughts, go check that out. I pretty much only watched this because of Jensen Ackles. Dean Winchester in a horror film. Love it. But no, this is a pretty good remake. Not as good as other horror remakes that I know for a fact are better. But it is pretty decent. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but you know what? I'm one of the few that did. Then next one I will show you is Van Helsing. I was in a vampire mood after having watched the second to last film I'm going to show you. And you know what? I love Van Helsing. I need to upgrade this to 4K actually. I will do that at some point. It's a fun vampire flick. Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, absolutely badass characters. The CGI, if you want to look at some really good CGI that has aged well, this one, there's a fight between Van Helsing and Dracula. Brilliant. Werewolf transformations look amazing. Just honest to God, if you have not watched this, please give it a go. Or if you have watched it and you didn't like it at first, give it another go now. It's probably been a while since you've watched it. Give it another go. Fun characters. I even want to cosplay as Kate Beckinsale at some point. Whether I will or not is another thing, but I definitely want to give that a go. But if you want a good vampire flick, Van Helsing, certainly give this a watch. Just, yeah, absolutely fun. And like the setting is fun, just so enjoyable. If you have not watched it, give it a go. But to finish off my watches, this was a first time watch for me. And that is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. So I watched this with Evander and Toby. We did a watch along together. Took a bit of time getting to that watch along because of certain things that happened like work and other issues. But we finally all sat and watched it together. So I did want to go see this on the big screen last year when it came out, but I never got the chance to. Unfortunately, my local cinema wasn't showing it, and we were planning to go and see it on the big screen altogether, but that didn't happen. Now, the other two have seen this. I had not. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was entertaining. I will say, at points, Dracula's CGI or makeup or whatever did not look that great. There's a couple of moments. But aside from that, this was really good. This is a fun, modern vampire film, especially Dracula. And it's just, I enjoyed the cast. I still can't believe certain people that got killed. Like, what the hell? And a certain animal as well. But the kills were really good in this. Just the way it's set on a ship and the fact that this is set when Dracula is travelling from Transylvania to where, what's her face lives? You know, the part of the Dracula Nosferatu story. But it's pretty badass. Some really good moments. It is got quite a few dark features, so I will say if you're going to watch this film, if you're watching it during the day, shut your curtains, try and get it as dark in your room as possible. If not, watch it at night. But overall, really good. I think the 4K transfer looks really good as well, because this only come out pretty much last month actually on 4K. But no, if you want a modern vampire Dracula film, give this one a go. If you like Nosferatu or Dracula, give this one a go. Okay, so here is my worst movie watch of the month and my favourite movie watch of the month. I'm going to do first time watches and rewatches. So my favourite movie that I watched this month that was the first time, it's going to have to be Companion. I really enjoyed that film. I had such a good time with it. And just looking at all of these other ones, I do enjoy them, but for me, Companion just that has that little bit more of an edge. Apologies for the boiler. My least favourite first watch, Kinda Pregnant. It's going to have to be that. I did enjoy it. I think it was trying to be kind of like Bridesmaids, a bit too much for me. So Kinda Pregnant is going to be my least favourite. But onto my rewatches. I think my favourite rewatch is going to have to be Van Helsing. I really enjoyed going back to this. Wow, that boiler's really loud. There we go. It's my favourite rewatch of the month. I really enjoyed going back to this. Seeing Hugh Jackman as someone other than the Wolverine is amazing. And just, honestly, Supernatural is one of my favourite kind of genres. So seeing this again was fun. My least favourite rewatch of the month, I'm going to have to be completely honest, and it sucks to say this, it's going to be Ants. I enjoyed it as a kid, but I feel like I've just outgrown it. So I'm so sorry, Ants, but you are my least favourite rewatch of the month. So, like I said, this is a trial run video. I will try and make a better plan for the next month. But this is just sort of like me trialing out how it goes. The next couple of months will be trial episodes, really, sort of like seeing how this one goes, if you enjoy the way I've done it, or if you want me to change things up, you know, just me working out the kinks. But no, so that's everything I watched in the month of February. I think it was a total of 31. 33. I watched 33 movies in the month of February. Was it 33? Yeah, it was 31, sorry. A total of 31 movies in the month of February. This month, I will be continuing on my DreamWorks watches, which I already have. But I'll also be focusing on the Dead Meat Horror Awards in prep for when that actually comes out. Because they've just put up the list of nominations for the award show. So I will be watching all of those. And I would like to do a ranking of all the nominees before then. But no, I'm looking forward to the Dead Meat Horror Awards. My favourite award show. I kind of prefer it over the Oscars. Just saying. But no, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Bear with me as I work out the kinks. But if you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And leave me your comments and thoughts on the movies that I watched this month. Have you rewatched any of these in the last couple of years? What was your favourite first time watch? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.